We are the talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, brothers and sisters, we back. WVON 1690. This is the talk of Chicago. Tuesday nights, you know we're on StraightWords, 9 p.m. to midnight. Brother Naba'a Richard Muhammad. Of course, James G. Muhammad, yours truly, Brother BJ. You can support us, brothers and sisters, by going to our website, StraightWords.com. StraightWords.com. Go to the website, and you can hear a replay of some of the content we've been producing for the past year and some months, and also how to donate and support the program. We thank everybody for going to the website last week and making it happen for us every week to stay on the airwaves of WVON, and we really appreciate it. So, brothers and sisters, keep the love light burning right here on WVON. All right, Brother Naba'a, we got a great segment coming up, Brother James G., with some brothers who've been working hard on the streets of America.
Yeah. We got, before we get to that, I want to add this. If you want to know how you can support us, brothers and sisters, look, text 312-480-9775. Text 312-480-9775, and we'll give you information about how you can help right now. Don't have to wait, but you can also go to that website, and the information is there on how to give. We had last week a goal that we needed to meet, and I got to say, because of your support, we met it. Excuse me. So that's a huge win. That's a huge win. Because of your support, we met it. And, last week, as I always say, this is not public access radio. This is pay for play radio, meaning no pay, no play. So we got to pay in order to get played on the air. But
ain't no love. Ain't no love for you,
man. Hey, we got to pay to get played. But we got brother James, Brother Leonard. Are y'all on the air? Has Brother Corey, Student Minister Corey, joined us?
Yes, sir.
Oh, we got everybody. Everybody there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can y'all hear us?
Okay. Yeah, we can. So, Brother Leonard, where are you? Are you there? So this is
I'm
Brother
right here,
Leonard.
yes, sir.
All right, Brother Leonard Muhammad, man. I know.
That's a mighty man right there.
Oh, brother, he's a grown man. I remember when he was a young,
I know. We got a
grown man. I mean, he's a grown man. You know what I mean?
Don't go embarrassing me now. Don't go embarrassing me in front of the whole
well, he was always good. Then we got the great student FOI captain, Brother James Muhammad. Brother James, you there, man?
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. One of my favorite people. Then we got the great student minister coming up out of Charlotte, Brother Corey Muhammad. Brother Corey, you there? Brother Corey? He's not on yet. Somebody text Brother Corey and tell him to let text. I'll tell you what, I'll text Brother. I'll find a way to text. Brother BK, can you text him?
Yes, sir. I'm texting him right now.
Great. Okay, thank you. Tell him if he's got problems getting on to text me his number, and I'll work something out with him, inshallah. We'll get him on. Brothers, thank you so much. We just had a news item, and it was something that I wanted to talk about because it speaks to the value of this thing called the Saviours Tours. Mm-hmm. And this is this little girl, 10 years old. Her mother gets into an argument. Her mother's 33. Her mother gets into an argument with another black woman. And her mother pulls a weapon, not the mother. You talking about two grown women, man. How you 33 and you still fighting somebody in the street? Yeah. But they say that, well, from what I read, some of the people said that this is how the woman would get. But not only does she get into a fight with this other black woman, physical fist fight, she gives a bag to her 10-year-old daughter. The 10-year-old daughter pulls out a weapon a weapon, 10 years old, racks it up and shoots the black woman and kills her. Mm-hmm. Now the mother has been given 5 years in prison. Brothers and sisters, that don't breed love and hope and unity. Mm-hmm. That don't give you a sense of justice. So it seems to me that part of the beauty, the value, the importance of these Saviours Tours is to try to intervene and touch our people before they get to that point. But Brother Leonard, why don't you start by telling us about the Saviours Tours? What are they? What's the purpose?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wow. That story, I actually heard about that story today. Mm. So it's a great backdrop for the work that we're attempting to do. In order to quickly tell the story of the Saviours Tour, I gotta get a little personal, tell some straight words, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm. So, go ahead, take your time.
Yes, sir. As a young man, growing up in the Nation of Islam, I spent, some of my formative years in Chicago and D.C. and Baltimore and Atlanta. I mean, I was all over the place and had a lot of different experiences. But I think Allah, when I was around 18 years old, and you know how it is, you got 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? 1 foot in the mosque, 1 foot out, 1 foot in the church, 1 foot out, whatever it is that you're doing. You start to experience life a little bit. But I had an opportunity around that time to sit down with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And on 2 separate occasions, right around that same time when I was 18. So on one occasion, he asked me, I was about to go to the illustrious Howard University as a freshman, which I don't even know how I got in there. I had a colorful childhood. But as I was about to go, the minister asked me, well, what do you want to do? I said, I think I'm a major in public relations. But I said, I know that, that's not that important. And he told me at that time, he said, wow, if there's one thing that the nation needs, it's public relations. He told me that when I was 18. I didn't fully understand it. I didn't get it. Well, later that summer, it was closer to wintertime, I'm sorry. I was in Phoenix, Arizona with my father, and we had an opportunity to sit down with the minister again. And at that time, it was just him, myself, my father. My father leaves to go do something, so now it's just me and the minister sitting there. I'm nervous, I'm afraid. And at that meeting, and I won't get into everything, I was going through a lot personally, but he told me at that meeting, and he charged me with the responsibility to my nation and to my people, and then he asked me to help him. Well, I'm a slow learner, because here I am, I'm 38 now, so that was 20 years ago. Just getting started in making my word bond and helping him in the way that I told him I would. But the same thing that's going on with that young sister that you just mentioned is happening all over the country. It's happening all over the country. And we believe very firmly that the solution to the problems of black people in America has been given to us by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, period. Right? So it's kind of like if you got an answer to a test and you can give it to all your classmates, and it's legal and it's okay, it's a good thing for you to do. You can't be the one holding on to that study guide, holding on to that cheat sheet, keeping it in your pocket. Let's get that to everybody, because if we all learn and grow, then we all win. So speeding it up, seeing that this is going on in the cities, and knowing just from my history, right, the FOI has had the ability to transform some of the worst neighborhoods in America. It's a fact.
Right.
It's a fact. You talk about the dope busters in D.C. You talk about, the brothers out in L.A. who went in and out of Watts. Like, this is something that the FOI, not because of any power that we have, but the power has come through, from Allah, through his messenger, through his minister, right? So we had an idea, or, praise be to Allah. Allah blessed me to have an idea to let's galvanize the brothers from up and down. We started on the East Coast, and we just kind of utilized the geographical proximity of these cities on the East Coast. So we said, let's have all the brothers from, how y'all used to do on the East Coast back in the day. If the minister was in Philly, all the brothers from New York came, all the brothers from D.C., all the brothers from, Richmond and Baltimore, everybody convened in Philly, right? Or if he was in Brooklyn, everybody came up to Brooklyn. So I had this idea. I said, well, we all doing the same thing up and down the East Coast, but let's compound our manpower. And let's have all the brothers from all the cities converge on one of these cities for one Saturday out of a month, and then we'll go to another city. And we started this back in 2018, and this was a slow roll. Our first city was D.C., Brother Kader and the brothers in them, they came out with us. Maybe it was 40 or 50 or 60 of us. And over the years, we've gone strong every summer since. And we just came out of Charlotte, where it's just like Chicago. And I know y'all in Chicago, y'all in the big city, but don't forget your country cousins, in the South. We all going through very similar things. But our people need us. They need to hear us. They need to know that we're here. They need to see us and feel us. So when the brothers come out, in smaller numbers, that's good, praise be to Allah. But when we come out 100 strong, 200 strong, not with the intention to hurt nobody, harm nobody, scare nobody, but with the intention to spread love, make friends for Farrakhan, make friends for our community, for our people, to share resources, and to be a help of our people, then we start to build and to grow together. And it's very simple. I mean, we just came out of Chicago. We hit, some of the worst neighborhoods in Chicago that people will not go to. We was on the west side. We was on the south side. And we went right in, and it's not all publicized. It's not always on the news. That's why I thank Allah for programs like this. But we went straight into the heart of the worst neighborhoods where our people are, and we had conversations. We had dialogue with the attempt to build. So we just going one city each month. We hitting it. We just left Charlotte. We did Chicago. We did New York City. Harlem was beautiful. Some of the rappers came out and joined us. And we're going to, by Allah's grace and permission, we're just going to keep rolling. We're going to keep rolling. So that's, that's who we are, what we do, why we do it. But we just following the instructions of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan at the end of the day.
So, brothers and sisters, you just heard from Brother Leonard Muhammad. I don't know. Can I say your dad is, or you know?
Oh yeah, that's my dad.
You know how you know how they get at a certain age, right, Brother James? I ain't want to get into nothing. But this is Brother Jamil Muhammad. This is Brother Jamil Muhammad's son. Yeah. And I gotta say, Brother Leonard, you're a little bit older than my oldest son. There's nothing like a man who has committed himself to this work to see his son pick it up. He's been talking about Saviours Tours, brothers and sisters. This is where the men of the Fruit of Islam, the men of the Nation of Islam, from multiple cities. And I guess now, Brother Leonard, like in some places like Chicago, you didn't get men from multiple cities like regionally. You probably got some brothers that just flew in because they wanted to be part of this great mass in headquarters. And Charlotte's going to be a pretty big city now. And it ain't country no more. Brother Captain James. Brother Captain James, talk to me about what impact did the men of Muhammad have on the city of Charlotte? How were the people touched by what they saw and experienced?
Oh, brother, the people are still buzzing about the tour that we just finished on Saturday. We actually did a follow-through on Monday in a different community, but we was in pretty much the same area that we did on Saturday. They had a Juneteenth festival over there by West Charlotte High School, and we came out, and they showed us love, and we took a lot of their information and called back. And even though some couldn't make it this past Sunday, the difference this time, I believe, was the spirit was still good. It wasn't that, don't call me, how you get this number kind of situation. Every brother that contacted these brothers and sisters that gave us their information showed love and had a positive spirit and say, well, I couldn't make it this week, but can you come here? Or can can I come out next week? So it was a positive vibe. And then when we went out Monday, because we are out to see on Monday nights now, the spirit was the same. And, you know, if you don't know, it's a high Latino original family growing in Charlotte as well. So some of the areas that we normally go to that is predominantly black, we're starting to see a lot of the Latino influence. And, you know, I think Allah that he already facilitated a way. We have one of our brothers, a friend of mine, who came in the nation with me or came in the nation a little bit after me, but we've been friends for years, Brother Manuel. He's been able to help break the barrier. And, you know, it's just on time as, you know, we're promoting more of the Latino as our original family connection. From Chicago, we had that first all Latino or in Spanish meeting. So it's right on time because now in 2000, the population here for Latinos was probably about 44,000. In 2024, it has doubled to about 135,000. That's how big that community is. So nevertheless, there's a lot of love that our people are looking for us out in the streets. And what Leonard is doing and the other brothers that's on that team that is doing, I tell you, brother, it gives me great joy. I try to travel with them everywhere they go, try to follow with, because I just want to learn. I'm like still trying to be a student to understand the dynamics and how we can pull our resources because, you know, back in the days in the 80s and the 90s where I came up as a young brother in my 20s, we used to travel a lot with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and that was the greatest thing for me because it built a strong brotherhood. So not only that it helped with our community in Charlotte, but it helped a lot of the brothers in our minds who never saw the other brothers from other cities like New York or D.C. or Baltimore or Chicago. They got to see other brothers, and one brother said, man, I didn't even know this brother, you know, knew the same thing or did the same kind of work that I did, Brother James. I mean, it's just such a blessing that the brother came because now we can network, and that's all I want to do is get us to get to know one another because we don't know one another. We're not tight like we used to be, and this Saviours Tour is really saving our lives. Not just other people's lives, it's saving our lives because it's getting us reacquainted with each other, knowing no matter where we are, we're still one brotherhood. We're one family. So, yes, they came from the East Coast in New York, but they came down south and they found out the brothers from down south are the same brothers in New York. It's nothing different from us. So that was the positive thing that happened with us on that Saturday. Not just the community outreach, but the brotherhood building and the bonding.
Brother, I want to jump in for a minute. Assalamu alaikum, brothers. Brother Leonard, Brother James. You know, y'all got to tell everybody, too, how special the city of Charlotte is to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Why don't y'all talk on that?
Yes, sir. And Brother can probably speak to it more intimately than I can. In 2012, when the minister came for a Holy Day of Atonement, when he came to Charlotte and we were able to host there, I wasn't in the city during that time. But I still hear the stories. You know, wherever the minister comes, the impact is great. But I do know that Charlotte, from that time, since that date, you know, has been known to be one of, if not the most hospitable city in welcoming in, you know, the minister and his helpers. And I'm sure Brother James can kind of give some of those stories. But also the minister went to school in North Carolina. He went to HBCU in North Carolina, Winston-Salem State, which is in not far from us at all. It's about, an hour and a half up 85, Brother James, an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. So
yes, sir. That's about an hour.
He has history, 2 hours, right? So he has history in our state. But Brother James can tell you some of those, those stories about when they came down in 2012, because that was a big day for us in the Nation of Islam. So, Brother James, you want to kind of share that with them?
Yes, sir. Oh, praise is due to Allah. When the minister came in 2012, our Holy Day of Atonement, first of all, never been done that I know of. I could be corrected, but we had sold out the arena, Bojangles Arena. And so on that Saturday, for the first time, we had a family day for the believers. The believers didn't have to do the work. The work was already done in Charlotte. So they enjoyed themselves. I don't know if they ever duplicated that particular time, but they got to relax, release. And the minister on the rostrum said he felt that Charlotte was his second home. And I remember when it came out the blue, because we weren't really designated to be the place to have the Holy Day of Atonement. But the minister told Brother Adama, before he made his decision, to go check out Charlotte. It was just something that he felt, I guess, that he should check out Charlotte. And when he did, the minister decided that he would like to do it in Charlotte. All praise is due to Allah. We didn't let him down. We didn't let him down. We sold out. It was successful. From what I heard from Brother Saad, he said it was the first time at that time that the nation didn't go into any kind of debt expense, but actually made a profit, and that everything ran smooth on that particular day. So, I'm very proud of that particular day that we did, because I always want to put a smile on the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan.
Right. That's right.
And just like Brother Leonard said, I if anything else, I let Allah use me as a gift to make sure that any person that represents the minister that comes in the city gets the same kind of treatment as though the minister was coming, because that's what we were taught. So it's always a love to see different ministers come through the city, different people, and they love coming down to Charlotte. And, we love having them come down to Charlotte. So, it's just a beautiful experience to know that the minister has you on his mind in a positive sense, and that he loves Charlotte.
And can I also say too, on a personal note, when my wife and I got engaged, we were trying to just figure out where we wanted to live, what city we wanted to be in and grow our family. And the minister told us, it was the minister, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, told us that we should move to Charlotte. So that's how we ended up in the city. And because I was telling him what I wanted in the city, and my wife was kind of telling him, what she wanted in the city and for our family to grow and develop. And he said, Charlotte would be a great place for y'all. So praise be to Allah. We're happy to be here in the city, the Queen City.
Yeah, well, Charlotte is definitely on the move. Brothers and sisters, you're listening to Brother Leonard Muhammad, and you're listening to Brother James Muhammad. They're talking to us about the Saviours Tours. This is when the FOI, the men in the Nation of Islam from different cities and now different parts of the country, they come together for one Saturday and they spend a day in a specific community. They were just recently in Charlotte, North Carolina. What are they doing? They're knocking on doors. They're talking to people. They're making friends. And as Brother Leonard said when he started, they're passing on this information that will help us understand who we are, what we're facing, and what we need to do. They're building black love, and they're building unity. So you better come on and join the Black Man's Army. You better come on and join the FOI. You better come on. They were just here in Chicago a little while ago.
Brother Leonard, can I have a quick question?
Yes, sir.
Hey,
yes, sir.
Two quick things. What is it like, the reception that you get, and how is it different from the brothers, the reception you get from the brothers and the reception you get from the sisters. And what is like the conversation? What are the conversations about and like when you encounter people?
You know what, Brother James? That's an excellent question. And before I answer that, I want to shout out the team, because I'm hearing Brother James, and Brother James is one of those brothers who's known me forever as well, and I'm very close with his son, Brother Omar. And y'all all know Omar from Chicago. But Brother Omar is one of the brothers who is currently a part of the organizing committee. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to find top soldiers at each of these cities that we go to. So before we hit a city, we come together and we plan and we work together. And it's just brothers like with a group chat, like our phone group chat, and we get on Zoom calls and we spend our own money and we come together. It's kind of a really unique and awesome thing to see, because we're attempting to prove, the word correctly. Like if we pool our resources, then we can be successful. So Brother Omar, at the time he was in Philadelphia. Now he's kind of back and forth between Philly and Chicago. That's Brother James, who just asked that question. That's his son. Also in New York, we have Brother Alton, who's a master DI, which is a drill instructor. When you see that for why, you see that for why drill. Brother Alton in New York, Brother Tariq in New York, who's a great engineer. I mean, these are like, brothers that I look up to. And when I called them to ask them if they would be a part of what we're doing, they all, absolutely. We with you. We want to do it. We want to help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. In New Jersey, we had, at the time, Brother Kyrie. He's in New York now. Brother Khalid is still in Jersey. Brother Rob, who's the student secretary at Mosque number 25, the historic Mosque 25 in Newark. In Baltimore, we have Brother Isaiah, who's an amazing brother. He's the first officer there in Baltimore, Mosque number 6. But he's also doing so much work in the city. It's in the community. If you go to Baltimore, everybody know Brother Muhammad, Brother Isaiah, Brother Jihad, who's also, doing the same in Baltimore. In D.C., we have Brother Nasser, Sister Nisa's son, Sister Nisa Islam, her son, one of my closest friends. Brother Nasser in D.C., Brother Salahuddin in D.C. We have cameraman, Brother Shaheed in D.C. So this is the team. I just wanted to make sure that those brothers, are acknowledged in some small way, and they've never asked to be acknowledged. But when I had this idea, I was smart enough to know that I couldn't do this by myself. And then like a brother like Brother James, who's a laborer, who's in a position of authority, who never once blocked what we were trying to do. Because we're younger brothers, right? Like you might, you could tell if you listen to us, like I'm a bit younger, than Brother James and his class of FOI, but they never once stopped us from doing anything. Ain't no ageism in the Nation of Islam. It just don't exist. So our regional captain, Brother Aaron, regional captain Majid on the East Coast, Brother Aaron especially, like when I called him, he had the same idea, very similar idea. And we talked, this is years ago, and he gave me the green light and the permission to be able to do this. Student Assistant Supreme Captain, Brother Aziz, right here in Chicago, our regional captain in Chicago, Brother Dwayne, all of these brothers who are in authority over the men of Islam, they all have shown a great deal of support, and I just want to publicly thank all of them, because we couldn't do it because absolutely we fall in a line of command or a chain of command. So we want to make sure that, I thank them publicly and shout out everybody for allowing us to work in this capacity, because it's really an effort of all of us. So I thank them. But to get to your question, I'm sorry, it's the questions, the conversations are amazing. Every Saturday that we do the Saviours Tour, because I'm coming from Charlotte, unless it's in Charlotte, I'm usually coming from the furthest away. So if it's in New York, I'm leaving at 4 a.m. to get on a flight so I can make it there that morning, or, what have you. If it's in Chicago, I'm flying in, and I'm always just kind of tired and, got to work on my spirit. But as soon as we see the first brother or sister And it's typically, I mean, I'm talking about like, as soon as you see them, my spirit is lifted immediately. The people ask similar questions in different ways. They always ask, well, who are y'all? But in most of these cities, they know the minister, they know who we are, but they always want to ask because they want to see how we respond. Well, who are you? Why are y'all out here today? Like, what's the purpose of y'all being out here today? And our response is always that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan sent us here to tell you personally that he loves you and he loves his people. And then we ask, is there anything that we can do? We're here to be of service. Is there anything that we can do? And then they tell you, well, we got this issue with, this is happening around the corner, or this police precinct down here does this, or these young guys over there are doing it. So they open up and they start to talk. The brothers show the same amount of love as the sisters. It's equal. It's the same. And regionally it's different. Like if we're in Harlem, everybody feel like, they know a little bit about the nation and got some knowledge of self. So a lot of times we get, questions about the lessons and, it's those types of questions, right? People, I knew Brother Malcolm. Okay, well, praise be to Allah. I'm Brother Leonard. You can know me now, right? We get that up in Harlem, and sometimes in Charlotte and D.C., it's like, I'm all about Jesus, right? So then it's, well, we are too. So let's talk about it. Let's find that common ground. But when the people, and it's very important when we go out on the Saviours Tour, we go out with big smiles. We ain't out there trying to hurt our people. We're not trying to look mean and tough and scare people. We're trying to attract people to what we do so that we can work together to get ourselves out of the condition that we in. So it's a training component to the Saviours Tour that before we go out, all of the brothers understand what the mission is, what we're out there for in that day, what the goal and objective is. And it's literally, to be of service to our people and invite them to work with the Nation of Islam and Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So the questions range from, can y'all help me get some money? Right? That's a real question. It's a real need of our people. Or, so what do y'all think about Trump? Or did y'all? We get all of the questions. And the more we go out there, the more we engage with our people, we learn how to turn every question into an opportunity to build a bond and become closer with our people. I think about frequently when the minister was in Harlem, they said every day he would leave his office and he would walk around Harlem and he would shake the hands and hug the homeless people and the heroin addicts and and sometimes they didn't think they was even clean enough to shake his hand. But he never thought that he was better than or, holier than thou and can't. No, that's not what it was about. So if he could do it, then we got to follow in that same foot. That's why we named it the Saviours Tour. It's not that we are the saviors, but we're attempting to walk in the footsteps of the saviors. So we knock on doors like Master Farrakhan Muhammad did.
Yes, sir. Ain't that the work of Jesus? Ain't that the work of Jesus Christ?
There you go. And we just trying to do our part.
That's right.
Beautiful.
Hey, brother, talk about. I'm sorry, brother James. You had something?
No, go ahead. No, that's it.
You see the brothers out, and it's so attractive to our people when you see a group of clean black men in suits and bow ties, and the brothers are just loving on each other. What kind of energy do you think that we're giving off? We're giving hope to our people every time they see us together. So what have you heard, brother, from? Go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. And I'll let Brother James speak to it as well. But the children that see us, they want us to be our fathers. Want us to be their fathers, as they should. The sisters see us, and they want their husbands to be like us, and sometimes they want us to be their husbands. Right? And I'm not saying that with any level or degree of vanity at all.
No,
it's not necessarily us that they're seeing, though.
Yes,
We're reflecting or attempting to be a reflection of the Word of God as delivered through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So that's just that's what it is. People break down in tears literally break down in tears. You will be surprised at how many brothers and sisters we come across who walk with the messenger in the first. And then when they see us, the emotion that it brings out is unreal. I mean, we hear it all. We hear we've been waiting on you all. Oh my God, the Saviors are here. You know, we feel safe now. We feel free. And all the praise is due to Allah. All the praise is due to Allah. But that's what we hear from our people. And I'm not saying that to say that there's not more work that we need to do, because there absolutely is. But those types of comments assure us that we're on the right path, and you know, making our way in the right direction. I don't know, Brother James, you may have heard something different, or, you know.
No, I'll just add to what you said, beloved. One of the things also we have to include our junior FOI. My son goes with me everywhere I go to these Saviours Tours, and I literally see ladies break down and cry when they see my son, and the way he is with them and mannerable, they can't believe it. And the brothers will say, you know, you need to stick with your father. Whatever he's doing, you need to keep on doing it. So it's just showing a clean glass next to a dirty glass, so to speak, and showing that there is hope in our community. Like, you know, to see a black father with their son, you know, you don't know what that impact may have to a sister or a brother who sees them in the community. And then see how my son interacts with juniors, also all the juniors. When he's in New York, a whole bunch of juniors out in the community. That also plays a big, major part too. So even though, you know, you have the older brothers like Brother Leonard, they, you know, or OG like myself, quote unquote, out there, when you start seeing the young people, you know it's a generational continuum. It's a continuing process. That means we're not breaking the chain. And, you know, I said something to that effect on Saturday, that look at all the generations coming together as one. So when we hit the community, you know, like Brother Leonard said, the people, you know, they tear up. They're so happy, man. They want to hug you. You know, they can't believe that they see that amount of brothers for a common cause, looking clean, sharp, you know, trying to do something to make a change in the community. It's just an overwhelming effect, you know. It's just like Brother Leonard would say, you know, sometimes you got so much on your plate and on your mind, you know, you have to do attitude check. As soon as you started, I noticed with myself, as soon as I engage the first person, all the worries that I had before go out the window. And it reminded me of that saying that somebody had posted a while. I started using it. Leonard Muhammad said something, I'm paraphrasing, said, if you're in trouble, work. If you're broke, work. If you're rich, work. He said, if you're stressed out, work. Just keep on working in the mission. And, you know, I never understood when I was a young FOI, I had problems. The brother would tell me, all right, just grab a bundle of papers and hit the corner. I said, man, this ain't helping my problems. But what I realized what he was doing was getting me involved and getting me into the community to get my mind off the problems and get back to the mission at hand, which is getting it to our people. So I say all that to say, you know, basically, you know, when we hit the community, when the people see us, and we not try to find, you know, the little holes in the wall, the small parts of people where I think our people are being missed at, that we're not hitting them, and I try to find those areas, because I want them to, like the minister said when he made his pledge, that he would take this word to every nook and cranny of the United States. Yeah, I'm trying to help fulfill that pledge. I'm not just going to go to the places where everybody else goes and try. It's not, like I tell people, it ain't about the show. It's not about the quantity. It's about the quality. So if I could hit one man, I said, shoot. I said, Master Fard Muhammad said he would go 20 miles high to save one. So what does it look like me trying to go after a bunch of people and I miss that one? that could be a redeemer in his own community if I can reach out and talk to him for a while. So, you know, I just love being around the brotherhood. I love being around people who are, especially if I can help them, who are in need. You know, that's just our mission. So it's definitely a blessing.
Mm.
So brothers, and to our listeners, you can call in and you can ask questions. Brother James Muhammad out of Charlotte, our student, a Fruit of Islam captain, and the Fruit of Islam is the name given to the military training of the men who belong to Islam in North America. Brother James, how old is the son that you have with you that the people see you with when you go out?
He's 11 years old.
He's 11 years old. So Brother James was talking about, because his son is dressed like his dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got the suit on, he got the white shirt, with the red bow tie, he got the red bow tie. If it's blue, it's blue, it's whatever it is. And then women see this, and they are inspired. Because now they see what? Hope. Then Brother James said, the men say to his son, stay with your father.
That's right.
Whatever he do, you do. Go ahead, brother.
And brother, I gotta tell you the story too of Brother James being a father, and you know he adopted Brother Ali when he was a baby, and has raised this young man from the ground up. I mean, it's an amazing testament to his love for his son, and he's doing some things. Brother James, speak on that, brother. That's what drives you.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, definitely. I can't say my son without saying my daughter as well.
Yes,
but,
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I had my son since really almost near since he came out the womb,
Right.
and ever since that point, I made a conscious effort to keep him and have him with me wherever I go. And sometimes I got a little slotted for it, but they didn't understand what I was doing. Now people see the results of it. I mean, my son reads on an 8th grade, 9th grade level. He skipped a grade. He's trying to skip another grade.
Go ahead.
But he's ambitious. He definitely wants to go into space. He's been saying that he wanted to go to space since he's been 5 or 6. My daughter's the same way. She wants to she wants to be a doctor. Give birth to babies, help babies come to this world, and she's had that same kind of aspiration for years. She also skipped a grade, so it's just and they're not trained, they're not schooled by the devil, so they homeschool. We homeschool our children, and it's not a make believe. They do take the city test, so we do know that they at what grade level they are, and we keep on working it that way. But it's always been a blessing, and not only that, I know that I'm built for it because we had foster children in our home, taking other home children who just not even foster care, just need help. So we always been doing that, and I have the Young Saviours program where I deal with other youth and mentor other young boys from the ages of 6 to 16 every Saturday. So it's not just a one-time thing; it's an all-time thing for me in this process. But my son is very dear to me, and my daughter is very dear to me, and we working. I'm just hoping. I'm glad. He wants to be a GFOI captain. I told him I got bigger plans for you than this. But he's insistent. But I guess that's how our son wants to be, just like his father. So praise God.
Praise be to God.
Brother, I think. Go ahead. Was that you, brother?
No.
Who was that?
I was just going to add one more thing to Brother Leonard, because Brother Leonard works in the school system. And he works with youth. So these brothers work with youth, around the clock in the city of Charlotte. I just wanted to make that point, Brother Leonard.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's right. That's what we do. Brother James and I have worked together, in the city. And I didn't even know all of the history that he just gave. So I can definitely see it, though, because I see him engaging, with the young people. It's very important, Nancy. And when he was telling this story, it really touched me. Because as we're out, and I say this to any, saved person that may be listening, or any, person who is righteous and on the straight path in the nation, or whatever it may be, and you attempt to go out and to be a savior for the people in your community, those brothers and sisters who live in your neighborhood, and that's a great thing. But don't ever, 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 ever forget to be that for the people who live in your household.
Right. Go ahead, man.
Never ever forget to fish in your own children. Because we got to understand that the enemy got a pull on us just as influential as the one inside of the nation, and then sometimes even more influential, because we're all human beings. We all have certain leanings or characteristics, and if somebody is a wicked investigator, they can look right into a person and see what their shortcomings may be and flood them with whatever they need to keep them away from doing what's right. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
It absolutely does.
Look out into the community and not look within our very own homes. I'm just pleading with us all to remember that. You can't be out, with the student bow tie on, and you in the projects, and we go out with the brothers in the Saviours Tour, and, you talking to the little ones that's there, but your little ones don't have a relationship with you in the house. That's just, that's kind of backwards. So as FOI, we have a responsibility to both. First, our responsibility is to ourselves and to our families inside of the house, and then we go out. It's to our people as well. But it's not a rare thing to see mothers literally bringing their sons outside of their apartment. Y'all take them. But brothers, y'all can I don't know what to do with them. Take all of them. Yeah. And it's a just this last hit that we did in Charlotte, at one of the stops, I saw some of the students that Brother James and I both work with. So sometimes we see students. When I'm in D.C., that's where I started as a young teacher back in 2009. So I see some of my students who are now adults when we go back to D.C., and they show love. So it's beautiful. When you get to work inside of these schools, you have a reach that, every year you're meeting hundreds of new people. And as they grow, you have a network of people that in that capacity. And it's a really awesome thing. So we thank Allah for the opportunity to be educators as well.
Brother Leonard and Brother James, I really think. And we got a few minutes, brothers and sisters. Now, y'all can call in 773-591-1690, and you can. We're talking about the black man's army. We're talking about the fruit of Islam. But don't worry, sisters. We got the MGT for you too. So don't worry. We got a military type organization for you too, and they have special classes, and they do stuff. What do they do? I don't know what the women do because I don't go to their class. But you can go as a woman through the women's class.
That's right.
Okay, let's bring Tommy in. Go ahead. Who's next? Because we only got 5 minutes. Let's bring Tommy in.
First of all, let me greet all you brothers by saying Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, sir.
Let me say this to you with all due respect. The definition of an OG is someone who has lived before all of you in that room. I was alive for Malcolm X, Dr. King. Not only that, the Honorable Minister let me say this because I get emotional because my father was a Baptist and he was in World War II, and he was one of the red ball express drivers taking loans out and look it up, and his friends were Muslims, and they had a bond, and they would come to our church, and we would go to the mosque on Stony Island when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was alive. I'm just a kid from the streets of Chicago who was working at Michael Jordan's restaurant when the Honorable Minister came in and told all his people to stand back because I was the only little black something up there in the restaurant, and obviously, black serve and go serve, Minister Farrakhan. Well, by then, gentlemen, I had a full grasp on culture and history because I had heard the Honorable Minister alive talk. I had been on 79th Street. So I knew because his friends, they died, and they would come to the house and they had a bond where no one could come in. And all they would talk about you would hear them crying, and I couldn't understand. I didn't have any grasp for any of that until I went to the archives of the United States of America. And there I found the blacks who drove trucks with no weapons, the blacks who fought off the Germans at Bastogne, while they gave all the credit to the 101st and North, who have a monument there because they fought until there was nothing left, and then they fought by hand, and then the Germans massacred them, and in that country, they're held. That's why most blacks stayed in France. I was alive when they gave Dory Miller, the black man who was the butler to the captain of the ship, who had the opportunity to sit and watch them train because no black person was intelligent enough to even be able to do this. But when his friend, these people were dying, he got on the gun and shot it down. I was alive when they gave him finally the Medal of Honor. He was dead as hell. So let me just close with this, gentlemen, because here is where we are right now. Our problem is simple. Young man, the difference and the reason why there's a generation gap. Because, first of all, us elders did not bring our children up as the time in which I was brought up. I lived in the time of all of the individuals who you can name. I don't care who you come up with. Fred Hampton, David Boxdale, all of them, every last one of them. Kid, young person, adult, too stupid to recognize one simple thing. We have never had humanistic rights in this country. They didn't like us then. They don't like us now. And here is where we're at. Why somebody is fixing to say, Tommy is talking about we fixing to fight and go to war. No, hell no. This is what we're about to do. Because, see, they messed up when they say, I'm going to close real quick. They messed up when they said one nation under God. And everybody's name that I just said to you believed in God. And I got to tell you one last thing. We will rise, gentlemen. We will not fail. Good night, man. Good night, because I got a street ministry, and every person in their neighborhood can come out of their houses as I do, and they will respect you, because if your kids in your own house respect you, they'll never respect you. Good night.
All right, brother. Thank you, brother. Good night. Hey, listen, brother Leonard, brother James, thank y'all, man. We love y'all, brother. Keep up the good work, and we'll get y'all back on soon, brothers. Thank y'all so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank you for having us. We appreciate you much.
Yes, top of the hour, Straight Words will come right back right after this on 1690 WVON. Go to our website, straightwords.com, for more about the shows. WVON.
June is Black Music Month, and WVON has got you faded with themes of the decade. From disco to house music, R&B, hip-hop, and more. All month long on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
The Talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation is 1690 WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
I'm Vanessa Tyler.
And I'm Mike Stevens on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
A black woman's dream vacation nightmare could be coming to an end in hours. Although Sharita Greer has been stuck in the Turks and Caicos since a Mother's Day trip last month, she is going before a local judge, hoping she will be fined for unknowingly having 2 bullets in her bag. She could have gotten 12 years. She says it was an honest mistake.
It fell up under the bottom of the flap on, in my carry-on. And there was no way possible that I could see it because it's a flap in the bottom. They took the bottom of the flap out the bag.
There were several other Americans also found with bullets. They were eventually let go after paying a fine. Greer, who is staying in an Airbnb on the island, expects the same to happen to her, pay a fine and return to her children and grandchildren in Florida. And listen as a black mother is sentenced, even though it was her 10-year-old daughter who pulled the trigger.
As to count 1, the court will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 5 years in the Department of Corrections.
5 years for Lucretia Isaac, a Florida judge handing down the sentence in a plea deal and ordering the 33-year-old mother to take parenting classes. She actually handed her 10-year-old the bag with the gun during a deadly fight with 41-year-old LaShawn Rogers. Lucretia's daughter pulled out the gun and fired. The girl was also initially arrested but let go. The victim's family says 5 years is not enough for life.
The white man suspected of shooting up an Arkansas grocery store, killing 4 and injuring 8, will appear before a judge. Travis Eugene Posey is in custody since the mass shooting in the small town of Fordyce. Many of the people in the store were black at the time and say nothing like this ever happens there.
I never saw something like this happen in Fordyce, Arkansas.
We don't have to worry about this type of stuff, in our town because it never happened, and then boom.
And it's the 2-year anniversary of the end of Roe v. Wade. Critics believe it's just the beginning, as extremists will continue to chip away at abortion, birth control pills, and IVF nationwide. Vice President Harris on MSNBC says the blame goes directly to Donald Trump.
Because the former president hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did exactly as he intended.
A 19-year-old white woman sparking a debate on Reddit. She got a full ride to an HBCU and was concerned if she would be safe. She admits her father's side of the family are racist. Those responding assured her she would be safe and should embrace the culture and the history of the institution. For more on these stories and international, national, state, and local news impacting the black community, listen to the Black Information Network on the iHeartRadio app or log on to BINnews.com. On social media, stay connected with the BIN on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Black Information Network, and join us on X at BlackInfoNet. I'm Vanessa Tyler with Mike Stevens on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Hey, WVON family, this is Kendall Moore, the host of The Kendall Moore Show. Fridays are always cracking from 6 until 9, so make sure that you're tuned in to The Kendall Moore Show. Cheers.
Here's what you listeners are saying about Perry Small and the Midday Show.
There are 4 great women in my life. 1 was my mother. 2 is Michelle Obama. The next individual is Melody Span Cooper. And then most of all, Miss Perry, the last one is you. Because, Miss Perry, I absolutely unequivocally love you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. It's Perry Small on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
What's up, Chicago? This is B.J. Murphy.
This is Naba'a Richard Muhammad.
Tune in Tuesdays, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight on WVON 1690, The Talk of Chicago.
And we're streaming live on iHeartRadio and WVON.com. So again, that's Tuesday night, Central Time, 9 p.m. to midnight. It's Straight Words with Naba'a Richard Muhammad and
Brother B.J. Murphy.
And we are black, strong, and unapologetically pro-Farrakhan.
June is Pride Month, and 1690 WVON supports the LGBTQ community. You're out, you're proud. We are the talk of Chicago. 1690 WVON. Hey, Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON.
The views expressed on our programs are not necessarily those of WVON, Midway Broadcasting Corporation, or our participating sponsors.
The following is paid programming. The views are not necessarily those of this station. We are the talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, brothers and sisters, WVON 1690, the talk of Chicago. Last hour of Straight Words. Go to our website, straightwords.com. Fascinating conversation tonight. 2 hours down, one more powerful hour to go. Brother Naba'a Richard Muhammad and Brother James G. Muhammad are going to take you into this conversation next about what is going on internationally in Haiti. So you definitely want to stand by and participate in this conversation. 773-591-1690, 773-591-1690. So, Brother Naba'a, Brother James G., do y'all want to take some calls before we go into our next segment?
Let's take some calls because we're waiting for our brother
Jeremy.
Brother Jeremy Miller with the Black Alliance for Peace Africa team. But yeah, let's take some calls. We got to take Cliff and Anita now. Wouldn't be Tuesday.
Right. All right. Anita, go ahead. And Cliff, we got you coming up. Anita, go ahead. You're on Straight Words on WVON. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. I heard you all talking about Charlotte. And I wanted to say that there's a white Christian pastor there. He's young. His name is Stephen Furtick.
Yeah.
And I had stopped going to the white churches because of the racism and the church not connecting right here with the white community, with, Christianity the way it should be taught. And Elijah Muhammad grew up, I think his father was a Christian minister, so he probably was aware of a lot of, things that weren't right, and he corrected it. But Stephen, I think, had problems with his father. And I think the Nation of Islam might need to start helping those white families or ministers that want to do the right thing so that it would make our job easier to have them help correct and turn around a lot of the bad thinking so that burden won't be on the black community. You've done our men have done basically save the world situation, but the world needs to stop being lazy and come to the rescue of themselves. We can't keep holding everything up for them. And Elijah Muhammad held that banner up of fatherhood and protecting the family, which is the basic unit of all humanity. And I think Stephen would welcome that, but you might have to walk really light in case he's not real familiar with Islam. But he is a person that follows, that like Martin Luther King, and he was very concerned about what happened with George Floyd. So that's all I wanted to say to you all about that. His name is Stephen Furtick. If you want to reach out and have some Father Day things with a church or even a Mother's Day, you guys might need to, chat with them and maybe arrange something, since you said you had other good things happening in Charlotte. But he is one white minister that I decided I really like, and wanted to support also.
Yes, ma'am.
I love you all.
I'm familiar with him.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
You are?
I'm familiar with this. It's called Elevation Church.
Right.
And they got about 15, I'm not exaggerating either. They've probably got about, I would say 10 to 12 satellite services going on at the same time, spread out in the metro. And they take these warehouses and make them, but they got an old Walmart they made into a church, bro. So they really are doing a lot of work with the young people are really flocking to that church. So he's like one of those young New Age pastors. He wears jeans on stage, you know, and it's real come as you are kind of church, you know.
Well, I mean, we don't want him to get too liberal. We got to keep the formality of the God-fearing. And I think he's open to that. And I think it would, like I said, it would help. The white community is lacking because they were dependent on our children, keeping them company and teaching them. But, you know, white women and white men got to do their jobs just like Elijah Muhammad taught us to do ours. We can't do their job. We can't help raise their children. They have to accept their responsibility without, you know, committing suicide or mass murdering people.
Yes, ma'am.
Stephen is he's pretty balanced about how goofy his people can get. That's why I like him. He will call them out. And Joyce Meyer will, too, that older lady.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all I wanted to say. God bless. Love you.
God bless. Thank you, sister. Love you, too. We got Brother Cliff, Brother James G., Brother Naba'a on the line. Welcome to Straight Words, brother.
Hey, assalamu alaikum, brothers. I try to get right to the point. Listen, what I do in Connecticut is fight against police brutality. So basically dealing with white police officers that abuse and mistreat our black community. And I stand up even when it deals with, you know, trying to challenge, you know, Brother Salim Wakil and also Brother Matt Milton, and these are some of the hosts. And what I speak of and challenge them along with white individuals, particularly talk show and conservative people, in terms of black police officers and how much of a challenge and what they have to deal with, not only with the racism within a department, but also how there's no misconduct or police brutality when it comes down to them serving white people. And I always make that argument, you know, black officers are not racist. You know what I mean? They do a whole lot better job. They get the job done without using deadly force and unjustifiable use of force with white people. So there's an unbalance. But here's a problem that I'm having, is that in the black community, particularly in Chicago, but all over, now this would be our second brother or black, including a black sister in law enforcement, and it's his brother Lumen, who just lost his life. Yeah. And it's not by the hands of white people, white supremacists, white police officers, but our young brothers, man. You know, and they are deliberately and intentionally doing this to our own brothers and sisters in the community. And so, Brother Nava, we had this, you know, this debate before, you know, and something's got to happen. And something's got to happen quickly. Because if these young brothers, man, keep targeting upright, good brothers and sisters in our community, man, this is going to be a problem. You know, and so, you know, and Brother Art talks about the family structure, and which is true. You know, and Brother Nava, you came back to me and said, you've got to love on these brothers, you know, and the families got to be structured, and we got to get to the families. They need funding. But, bro, I'm not too sure how long that's going to take under the Democratic Party. But then in addition to that, the Republicans and white people, man, they are 100% unequivocally, man, pro-police. So the point I'm making, man, is that as we deal with politics, and I'm saying this way into politics, if Biden and the Democrats don't take a stronger stance, man, on repeating offenders in our community, if they keep coming out recidivist, if they keep going in, keep coming out, keep coming in. Now, this brother, right, was on home arrest or confinement that committed this crime and took the life of this retired police officer. You know, brothers, we keep having this in our community, man, there's going to be some issues from black police officers to these brothers and sisters, man, that are not living right. You know what I mean? And so my patience is running out. I'm just saying, man, how much love and how much time you want to give our youth. Either they got to get it straight and get it right and get it correct now, or let the chips fall where they may. If they get locked up in for 35, 30, 40, 50 years, so be it. We don't need these type of individuals in our community causing havoc to upright brothers and sisters in our community. So I'll just leave it right there, brother. Something got to change.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Cliff. We're not going to have – we got Brother Jeremy waiting, and we want to bring him on, but I'm going to take a couple minutes. Malcolm Little was somebody that wreaked havoc in our community. Malcolm Little was. till he met the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in prison now and became Malcolm X. I think that, Cliff, your pain, your concern, the death of this brother, right, and I believe he was lived in a Morgan Park community in Chicago. Tragic, rather. And unfortunately, he's not the only one.
Right.
I think, though, that look, the minister said during the Saviours Day address, give them to me. So I tell you what, everybody that wants something done with young people, call your alderman, call your mayor, call your congressman, and say, God damn it, give the children of Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Go ahead.
Since you can't do nothing with it. But we've seen this thing, Cliff. Our people in pain, our people having suffered, we've seen it, and it led to mass incarceration. And we know that when these people start moving, brother, they don't determine, Cliff. They don't make no difference between who's who. That's how a brother like Ronald Green could be beaten to death, excuse me, by Louisiana state troopers who then lied to this man's mother for 2 years. And they beat this poor brother. So what am I saying, Cliff? I'm saying that something has to be done. We just talked about it with the Saviours Tour.
Saviours Tour, right.
So, no, it's not like there's an answer. The question is, do the Negroes want to stand up and get the answer to the damn problem, man? And I don't mean to be disrespectful. Or do you just believe that if you keep asking the white man, he's going to do something for you? He ain't. He ain't. But I think, Cliff, we had Brother Enoch on last week talking about working with young people. Ultimately, these children come from somebody, and they come from a community. They don't bring themselves here. They didn't create themselves. So, hey, they say you can tell the tree by the fruit it bears. So what kind of tree are we that these are the children that we're producing? And but I really wish we had more time to get into this, Clip, and maybe we will we'll do a segment because I think this is important. And I was actually going to write a piece about this, but I had to do something else. But I feel you. Look, Cliff, I lost my nephew, man, years ago. Shot to death on his porch. Never did nothing for nobody, literally. Brilliant young man. Shot to death on his porch, man. So you know what happened? His stepbrother suffered survivor's remorse, and he ended up having problems with alcohol. His sister saw him get shot to death on the front porch. My mother, his grandmother, right, loved Sherrod, and she functioned for the rest of her life, but there was a part of her that was never the same. So part of the work that we're trying to do is this preemptive and redemptive work, right? But we cannot have the enemy deal with our children. Unfortunately, Cliff, you're right. If we don't deal with them, the enemy is coming, brothers and sisters. And when he come, he don't come with no love for us. They've been trying to destroy us since they brought us here, man. So thank you, Cliff. And let's bring in Brother Jeremy. I apologize for having you hold on because we respect you and we really are interested in hearing from you. So, Brother Jeremy, are you there?